So this story is the gift that keeps on giving. I've made so many videos about this and I don't understand how, but like, it's getting crazier. It's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And it is the Sheryl Swoopes situation. And now, and the reason why Stephen A. Smith's face is on screen right now? Oh, there's a reason. There is a reason. If you guys don't know, Mr. Stephen A. Smith was the person who Sheryl Swoopes unprivated her Twitter for. She was private on Twitter, and then she had called out Elle Duncan for getting a minor detail wrong and forced Elle Duncan to apologize. And then Stephen A. Smith called her out. And by the way, after this, she continued to just ignore Caitlin Clark, say negative things about Caitlin Clark. And Stephen A. Smith called her out. And then she unprivated her Twitter to go nuclear on Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith not only refused to apologize, but has made Sheryl Swoopes look like the worst person imaginable. So this is what Stephen A. Smith said in his show. It's titled, I'm not going to show the show. You can watch it. I'm just going to be cutting out the part that is necessary. Responding to Sheryl Swoopes, he brought on Nancy Lieberman, who is the person who replaced Sheryl Swoopes on commentary yesterday. And this is what the show was about. And this is what Stephen A. Smith said on his show.
Been some haterade being thrown in her direction. Okay? Because there's no excuse to have resentment towards her. And see, we don't want to address the big elephant in the room, but we ain't going to run from it today. Because Sheryl Swoopes made news. Now, she made news last week when she sat up there and was applauding Indiana Fever players, but then forgot to mention Caitlin Clark. She jumped all in my ass because I sat up there and said, hey, how you going to ignore Caitlin Clark? You know what she brings to the table. How you just going to ignore her? That's not an accident.
But no, she got on Stephen A. Smith, and I'm telling you, Jesus, I don't know. Only Sheryl Swoopes will know this, but it does seem like Sheryl Swoopes got Elle Duncan to apologize. Elle Duncan apologized to Sheryl Swoopes for getting a minor detail wrong, even though her greater point was 100% correct. The greater point that was made against Sheryl Swoopes by Elle Duncan was correct, but she got a minor detail wrong. So I think she thought maybe if she called out Stephen A. Smith that he would apologize. So this is what they said. This is what she said right here. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to show it, but Stephen A. Smith will be reading it out.
Sheryl Swoopes is a champion. A champion. Look at her tweet and what she put up about me. You talk about whomever and whatever you want to on your podcast, correct? So why can't I? Also, did you listen to the entire episode? Nope.
I listened to the entire episode on 3 times speed. Yeah, she did not mention the name Caitlin Clark.
Personal relationship with these players, and they deserve recognition as well. That ain't the point, Sheryl Swoopes. Yes, I did listen to your entire podcast. You didn't mention Caitlin Clark. So I was right, number one. Number two, your personal relationship, what that got to do with your coverage? Ain't nobody said don't mention them. Ain't nobody said don't applaud them. Nobody told you to ignore them. What we're saying is if you're going to give the Indiana Fever all the credit in the world, how you going to mention the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark's name?
And that's the thing where it's like, there are NBA players that don't like Stephen A. Smith. There are NBA players that don't like these players. Heck, Matas Buzelis has, I am not Stephen A. Smith. Matas Buzelis has had me blocked on Twitter. I don't know why. I don't know what I've ever said about Matas Buzelis. I actually don't. If I knew why, if I was this Matas Buzelis hater, it would make sense. I don't know what I've said about Matas Buzelis, but I'm blocked on Twitter by Matas Buzelis. That doesn't mean that if I have on the other channel, on the Mick Hoops channel, and by the way, if you guys are interested in men's basketball, it will be in the description, the Mick Hoops channel, and I will be posting on that very, very soon again. But I'm going to be doing a redraft of 2024. It does not mean Matas Buzelis, I'm going to have any effect for him. This will be a first link in the description, and that video will be out. I'll put it out tomorrow. I haven't uploaded in a while on this channel, but once the WNBA season goes down, it'll be 10 videos a day on that channel. But yeah, it doesn't make a difference. I'm still going to have him top 5 in a way, way too early dumb redraft. Even though he's blocked me. I don't know why, but he's blocked me.
Even coming up. So then after that, Sheryl Swoopes engages in levels of immaturity. There's no way to slice it. I'm not going to insult this champion, this great basketball mind, this phenomenally accomplished Hall of Famer. I'm not going to insult her. All I'm going to say is it was pretty damn immature to come back at me like that. Called me an effing coward because I called you out for not doing your job. So you on a podcast, that means you don't have to do your job? I mean, the bottom line is this. She engaged in a level of immaturity. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, to just bite at me like that. Oh, why? Because what did I say? What did I say? You want to know what I said? Take a look at what I said last week about Sheryl Swoopes.
He's already, like, what he said was already covered. He basically just said, how do you mention the Fever without mentioning Caitlin Clark? And she was like, I have relationships with all these other players. And I was like, we don't care that you've got relationships with these other players. That's fine. Mention them. Give them their props. But don't just ignore one player intentionally. And then she got ignored. The worst part was when Sheryl Swoopes obviously ignored her on the broadcast after winning Player of the Week.
What she's got on her mind and what she wants to express. I get all of that. People can speculate till the cows come home about what that is. But one thing that's undeniable is that she seems to get offended with her objectivity being questioned. Her professional objectivity. The problem is she's the one that brought her professional objectivity into focus by her own behavior. What possible excuse could you have? Talking about the Indiana Fever and nary a mention of Caitlin Clark. How is that possible?
And that's the best part about this. Stephen A. Smith has just doubled down. Stephen A. Smith's just doubled down. And I love it. I love it. Like, and the maddest part about this, obviously, I've covered it in a video where he brought on Nancy Lieberman. But this part right here that I accidentally forgot in the last video is the worst. Nothing makes Sheryl Swoopes look worse than this part right here of the podcast.
Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody. But you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you might like Boston. I might like the Yankees.
And the funny thing is that today she has gone and leaked texts about her going to, leaked text saying that she's okay and cool with Caitlin Clark. But Caitlin Clark's just too nice a person. She is way, way too nice of a person to not just congratulate Sheryl Swoopes and thank Sheryl Swoopes for everything she's done for the game. It's for Caitlin Clark. She appears to be, I don't know her personally, but she just appears to be one of the nicest people in sports history, considering the stuff that she gets, the abuse she gets at times.
It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone, and I was like, Sheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without.
So not only did Stephen A. Smith refuse to apologize, he brought on a very, very credible character or almost character witness for what I say is, or somebody to bring on to get a story to basically say that if Sheryl Swoopes, if you have a disagreement or don't agree with something she says, she will end a relationship over a difference in opinions. Oh my, Stephen A. Smith, you pulled the biggest trump card. And not only that, I'm just saying, as great as Sheryl Swoopes was, and look, she played in the WNBA, there is a person, Sheryl Swoopes is not, the legend of Sheryl Swoopes is not that much greater than the legend of Nancy Lieberman. She is multiple time college champion. She graduated college in 1980. In 1997, she was the 15th overall pick in the WNBA draft. At what? 40 or 39 years old. And then she played at 50. She played a WNBA game at 50. She was the Detroit Shock coach. She was a Sacramento Kings coach for years. She's got silver in the Olympics. That was the first, I think, ever Olympic team USA had. She is again, probably not, didn't have the level of greatness of Sheryl Swoopes, but as far as just legends of the game, she is right up there. She is right up there with the legends of the game in women's. Maybe not the Sheryl Swoopes level, but right up there. I'm bringing her on to basically prove your point that Sheryl Swoopes actually doesn't have an issue with what, like, if you have an issue with what she says, she'll make it personal and cut ties. Stephen A. Smith, she didn't realize what she was doing. She did not realize what she was doing at all. Like, she thought it was easy game. She thought all you had to do was go on social media, call out somebody, get your social media fans to either the ones that will blindly support you and the ones that don't blindly support you to give you hate, and you can then tweet about getting hate from the people that will give you hate, and the people blindly supporting you will support you more and get sympathy. And Elle Duncan will apologize. Maybe Stephen A. Smith will apologize when I call him out for just calling me out for basically for my malice. But no, Stephen A. Smith not only doubles down, he has now basically ended Sheryl Swoopes' credibility. He has ended the credibility of one of the greatest players of all time. And look, I'm not going to ever knock Sheryl Swoopes as a player. Sheryl Swoopes is a legend. And there is a huge, huge difference between Sheryl Swoopes as a player and Sheryl Swoopes as like an analyst. But Sheryl Swoopes has gone full Paul Pierce, and I don't even mean full Paul Pierce. She's gone to a level of Paul Pierce that, like, we now talk about have players. When we talk about players doing a Paul Pierce, it is like saying stuff in the media that will overshadow their career. Sheryl Swoopes in the last month or so, like, yes, obviously the stuff in February was bad, but she took on a monster in Stephen A. Smith, and she has lost badly in this one. And then, just due to her own ego, she has potentially, I wouldn't be that surprised if she's this close to losing her freaking job. And hopefully, I would rather see Sheryl Swoopes. Like, Sheryl Swoopes is a legend of the game. You want to see legends of the game talking about the game. And the ideal situation is that Sheryl Swoopes is able to talk about the WNBA and the Fever without like ignoring one player who happens to be probably their best player. But I don't think that's going to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if the crash out of Sheryl Swoopes keeps happening. And look, if the crash out of Sheryl Swoopes keep happening, it'll keep paying my mortgage. So I'll be happy with that. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.